The biggest challenge was the timeline. How are we going to do this? We couldn't pursue a vaccine in a normal way. We broke the process.
How many people will die if we don't have a solution?
Mission Possible, the race for a vaccine, premieres tonight at 10 on National Geographic. In collaboration with Pfizer. Did you know you can go to libertymutual.com to customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
Really? I didn't. Okay, I'm on by.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Introducing Voltaren Arthritis Pain Gel, the first full prescription strength non-steroidal anti-inflammatory gel available over the counter. Voltaren is powerful arthritis pain relief in a gel. Voltaren, the joy of movement.
What starts with premium American-made materials is then designed and
Do you want some wine or something?
vehicle protection.
You do, huh?
And now goes further to secure
Drinking alcohol.
for me.
Mm.
Discover all the ways and help keep the things you care about.
I think my wine is downstairs. Look on the other side of my bed. See if you see something. What happened?
To lower my A1C.
Right, but you can look and see if there's something in the beverage first.
Activates my body's release, lowering my blood sugar from the first dose. Once weekly Trulicity responds when my body needs it 24/7. Trulicity is for type 2 diabetes. It's not insulin.
It isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Trulicity if you're allergic to it. You or your family have medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2.
Did you turn it on from over here? From there, by the wall. So then you got to go all the way over. Make sure that the first one is up and then go by the bed. I don't know how that happens because I turn it off a certain way all the time.
Diarrhea and vomiting, which can lead to dehydration and may worsen kidney problems.
I have it within me to lower my A1C.
Ask your doctor about Trulicity.
To the index tonight and winter weather over 6 states from California to Nebraska. Snow and icy roads in San Bernardino County. That's California tonight. The system moving into the Rockies by tomorrow night. 2 feet of snow possible in Denver this morning. Whiteout conditions and possible power outages. And what a sighting. USA Today reporting Cleveland, Illinois spotted an incredibly rare yellow cardinal in their backyard.
Thomas!
Confirming the sighting of about 50 million cardinals.
Hey, how you doing, hon?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. A little tired from all the water I got taken in my basement, but I'm okay.
You took water in the basement?
Oh, lots of it.
Really?
I've been taking out, I have a shop vac,
Yeah.
a 12-gallon shop vac. And I've
Yeah.
used it 15 times already. So I pulled out like 150 gallons of water.
Wow.
So it's been kind of busy around here lately.
Okay. Well, there is like, I'm the guy. That's a company that we had look at it. And there, because of the slope of the terrain, when in the water melts or it rains heavy, it goes right into the crawl space.
Right.
So they said we needed to put an industrial sump pump.
Yeah.
And they had to seal it off. But that's one of the things I couldn't get the previous people to do.
Right. Can you lower your screen down so I can see you better? Because I only see your eyes right now.
Okay, wait a second.
I want to look at the whole beautiful face, not just the eyes.
All you need to see are my eyes. Is that better?
Yes, I can see you now. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what's going on with you? How you been?
Actually, I've been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a, excuse me a minute.
No problem.
There's a jar
My tip to you
on my
is, Mom knows a lot about
nightstand that's got pins and earrings.
what does it
There
say?
should be one key on a ring in there.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT now.
In a recent clinical study, patients using salon
So
reported reductions
This is the
if
first
you
time.
can, I sent out an email
and improved quality of life.
with tonight's agenda.
Okay, I didn't get that yet. All right.
Okay. So it has tonight's agenda, and it has an appeal to all the owners. Because as you see, out of 39 owners, only 18 voted, which is a great number because it's more than voted the first time.
Right. Yeah. Well, congratulations. You got 18 votes.
Yay!
Yeah.
You know, it was
I
hard
voted
work.
twice, just in case you don't know, okay?
Oh, you did? Oh, so I know why I got 18 votes now. Yeah.
That's right. Who's this? Oh, okay. You're
That was
hosting.
Joseph. How
Joseph.
come you coming in on Renee
Joseph.
Speaks?
Oh,
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
There he is.
Yeah, it says Renee Speaks.
I came in as the host through your account, so that I
Maybe.
can control any chaos with the microphones and all that.
Right. Tom was just telling me about the water in his basement. Hi, Vinny.
Finally, 1 year ago today, the global pandemic was declared. We have celebrated our frontline workers, our essential workers, and our teachers.
There he goes. He's connected.
Who's,
Did you find it?
1 year later,
The nail is up. It got stuck on a nail.
still making deliveries.
Look, there's a hammer under the sink. Can you see if there's a nail in the track?
Papa's which my pushing.
Hello, Edgar.
Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hey, good evening.
Good.
Hi, how are you? How are you?
Good, yourself?
Good, good.
Good. Papa's.
Okay.
Don't mind me, I'm playing with my cat here. Don't mind me.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I just joined in. I could hear myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, Vinny.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
She's back with us tonight,
Hi, David.
showing us the new book.
Hey, Vincent.
Hiya.
This is all thanks to generous donations.
Vincent.
Hi, how's everybody?
Good. Hey, Nagash.
Over 4,000 books for checkout. So thank you, everybody.
Nice to see everyone is coming in on time and getting used to these meetings. That's great.
Yeah,
Well, you
let's
made such a
see.
big think of it last time. Be on time, he said. So, you know.
Hi, David. Tonight, telling us
We got 2 more minutes.
lesson plan.
All right.
Actually, early.
Let me-
Coming in early.
Yeah. So Renee, as the meeting gets started, I need to share with the group the situation update on preferred management, so everybody knows where that's at. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Good hope. We are grateful to our teachers. And again, President Biden said to address the nation.
Well, I sent everybody an email that has an agenda, and it's definitely on the agenda. And I also know, so everybody else knows, Edgar might not be with us for the whole meeting because he's got another engagement.
Correct.
So there's a few things that he's got to tell us so that we know. What happened?
What's this?
Oh.
Okay.
Joe, you put the thing up.
Yes.
Oh, all right, good.
I don't know how to do that. I'm mad.
Love to show you.
Okay, I didn't. No issue.
But the agenda is also in the message.
What you see? Times.
Renee, I didn't get the agenda either. Okay, I got the snowshoe owners that were, you know.
Right, but then you should have gotten in the email itself,
Okay.
when it tells you to look at what's attached, the
Okay.
agenda's on that.
All right. See, I thought I was sophisticated, but apparently I'm not.
Go back to the email and
That's
see.
why I'm sharing it.
Okay.
That's good.
Right, but you're showing just the participation. The actual message, it's on the actual message too.
The email?
Yeah.
It's like this. Can you see this?
No. Okay.
Right, there it is. Good evening, all.
Oh, okay.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, give me a glass.
Automatic continues. The priorities, snowshoe. Remember to things done. Next meeting. All right. All right. Good. And
You
you
gave
mail
me
us
one of
everybody?
them, and I got the other one.
All right.
Renee,
Yes?
you mailed us
Can you turn
everybody?
it down? Wait a second, honey, I can't hear you. Can you turn it down? The TV, yeah. Okay, so what did you say, Tom?
I said you mailed us to all of us?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
only
check my
two
email.
came back. Sean and Alex.
Well, I didn't check my emails yet today, so okay.
So I'm gonna tell you this, Alex came back because for him, the file was too large. So I had to send it back to him. I had to send
Hey,
the
Renee.
file separate from the email.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
I'm good, Sarah. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Evening, Sarah.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Good. Hi, Mike. Nice to see
Hey,
you.
how are you guys?
Good.
All right.
Okay, what do we have
Come
here?
here.
This is the email that Renee sent out with an agenda that was attached. So I'm sharing it for those that have not had a chance to open up their email yet.
I didn't.
Yeah, Renee, for you, a quick technical tip is next time when you share Word documents, it's easy to share like a PDF. You can save it as a PDF. It will reduce the size and it's easy to share, right?
So when I send a flyer, send it as a PDF?
Yeah, just save it as PDF. It will be very small in size. So you don't have to send these large files when you have pictures.
Y'all just insist on sending me to Microsoft School.
No, in your Word, you can just...
tell you, at 68, I'm tired of learning, okay?
When you save it, you have an option to save as PDF. Right?
Okay, I will. All right, I will do that.
A second choice.
Thank you.
Is everyone on the WhatsApp group?
WhatsApp group? WhatsApp group? I'm on this group. Is this WhatsApp group?
We have a WhatsApp group for the owners. It'd be great if we could all be on there so we can all communicate quickly.
Oh, okay. I have WhatsApp. I have it downloaded. I don't have the, what do you need?
I just need your telephone number.
Oh, sure.
Send the chat or send it to me, then I can add you to the group.
Where should I send it to you, Joe?
You can put it in the chat here, and you can send it to me privately, or you can just share it with the entire group.
Okay, can I respond to this? I don't even know if I can respond to this.
Or you can text me. I'll put my number here. You can text me your number, and I can add you to the WhatsApp.
Okay.
So that's my number. You all can send me a text with your name, and then I'll add you on my phone and include you to the WhatsApp.
I don't have a smartphone, so I'll continue by email, or, that's my best suggestion.
Okay.
Well, it's nice to see everybody's in, on time. It's good. We're creating a real nice culture of getting into these meetings efficiently and on time. Are we waiting for anybody else? Renee?
With this up, I can't see who's on.
No, you can scroll on the right side. You can scroll down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I would think that's about it. I mean, if they're going to be late, they're going to be here. I know I talked to almost everyone. Alex, I just talked to him. He should be on. Yeah, are you getting online? Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, Lynn is not coming on. She's got COVID.
Oh, geez.
Oh, really? Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so anybody could send her well wishes.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I would suggest we probably go ahead and get started, and because we don't want to lose what Edgar has to tell us. Alex, yeah, you getting online?
Sarah, it says that you're already in the group.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't even know that. In WhatsApp? I have no idea. On WhatsApp?
Yeah, I'll send a message. Hello.
I don't remember.
Snowshoe Owners Group.
I saw that for the first time today when I was opening up the email that I received tonight, just to go on the.
Okay, so can we get started then?
Yes.
Okay, Edgar, we know that you're pressed for time, so let's just
let me go. Right. Yeah. Obviously, I just want everybody to clearly understand, in the spirit of a smooth transition, you know, we worked to get the election done. Obviously, that has happened. Okay, but there are some issues that have come up that I just think that everybody ought to just certainly be aware of, because some decisions obviously will have to be made. I got notified by Brad Jones from Preferred Management, okay, that he wants to terminate the relationship with Snowshoe. Now, the contract that we had with him gave either party the right to terminate on, because we were basically on a month-to-month basis. Now, having said that, and the reason, by the way, the reason why he says that, because he feels as though that the way that the election had happened, he thinks that it was an improper election, and he just doesn't want to continue to be part of Snowshoe. Having said that, I said, Brad, and he's agreed to do this, you know, we want to have a smooth transition. All right, you have a number of files, because basically Brad has all of the files and all of the information about Snowshoe in terms of the owners. He does the reports, and there will be a smooth transition. Okay, so there's not any issue of that, you know, him holding stuff and not giving it to us. He will finish out the month. All right, because he will report, you know, he will terminate his relationship with us at the end of the month, and then he will issue his final financial report, as you know, for ending the month of March. Okay, so as of April 1st, okay, you know, whatever the group is going to decide to do, either take it in house or get somebody else. Okay, you know, and even if there's some crossover, you know, for a couple of days, but what we have to do is work quickly to figure out what we're going to do, so letters can go out to the owners, not to mail their, you know, send their money into Brad, you know, any longer. All right, so this group will have to figure that out. Okay, and again, it's not an adversary. I mean, he just feels that he doesn't want to continue the relationship anymore, but he's certainly willing to work with us, you know, during a transition period. So one of the things will have to be discussed, okay, as to, you know, who should he send that stuff to? Where should he send it? All right. And again, you know what, he will send everything that, you know, he has in his position that belongs to Snowshoe. There's, I don't have any documents, okay, that I could turn over that Brad doesn't have, okay, in terms of Snowshoe. I don't have any files or anything like that. All right. I don't have any keys to the office. All right. I don't possess anything, okay, in terms of that. All right. The other thing that I just want to raise with the group, okay, you know, we have 3 people that are working for Snowshoe. One is Donald, and Donald has been excellent. I mean, I have to share that with you. I mean, whoever's going to take over basically what I've been doing, we'll have to look forward to talking to him 2 or 3 times a day. The reason for that is, particularly during the period of the snow, it was a nightmare. And those of you that lived there know that it was problematic with the snow. We got a truck, you know, that half works. The plow didn't work. And, you know, Donald did the very, very best that he could in terms of, you know, and not only moving the snow, but maintaining the truck. But he's a guy that likes to communicate, okay, with whoever he needs to communicate with in terms of what's going on. We also had 2 other guys that he used because, you know, you got to salt the sidewalks. You got to shovel some of the areas where either the Bobcat couldn't get in or the truck couldn't get. So they are also 2 guys that he uses periodically when he needs them. And sometimes he uses them in the summertime as well for different projects. Yeah. You know, but the board will have to decide what they want to do in regard to those 2 guys, okay? The other thing that I want to mention, and I know you're going to talk about priorities, but from what I understand, one of the major and most pressing priorities is going to be coming up. Okay, well, two areas really. The roofs that need to get, done. Okay, you guys will have to decide how you want to deal with that. Okay, and also the roads. Those of you guys live there knows that know that the potholes have gotten very, very bad. So that's something that you're going to have to pay a good deal of attention to going forward. So when you talk about priorities, that certainly should be in the mix. Okay, and then the last thing that I actually want to mention, I guess anybody has any questions for me, and I'm still engaged as long as necessary to make sure that things get turned over the way that they should, on a timely basis. Okay. Again, everybody should remember, I'm still an investor and I still have an interest in Snowshoe and I'm the way like that. The other thing I just want to mention, I don't know what how the process is going to be in terms of officers. I mean, I saw the results of the election and I would just like to recommend and suggest that, that the officers be, whoever the officers turn out to be, that they be conducted in such a manner, okay, where whoever got the most votes, for example, be the president, whoever got the next amount of votes would be vice president and so forth, on down the line until all the officers positions are filled, all right? So those are the comments that I had to make, okay? If anybody have any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer.
I'd like to ask about preferred management. They have had inconsistencies with their books because of a software glitch last year. Are they going to correct that? Or I would advise everybody to correlate your payments and what they submit, and let's keep it honest, because they've been nothing but a nightmare for me.
Well, so I'm glad that I gather you're glad to hear that they'll no longer be servicing with Snowshoe, okay? But what they will do is to turn over. And again, if there are any issues or any disputes in terms of what their records may show, okay, ultimately the new board will make a decision because the preferred manager will be out of it, okay? But one of the things that I think it is important, okay, that whatever records that preferred management has get turned over so everybody has something to work from in terms of whatever their glitches are, okay? Hypothetically, if preferred management says somebody owes $1,000 and an owner says, no, I only owe $600, I think we need to figure out how to sort of match that up. But ultimately, what is owed and how it will get paid had nothing to do with the preferred manager. It'll have to do with the board.
Yeah.
I'd answer your question.
What is the process for turning over all the financials?
Well, let's start to get it together now, okay? And then he'll finish up by the end of the month because that's when his contract will actually expire. So by the end of the month, they'll be all turned over. But he could start doing, I guess he's starting to get it together now.
Well, we need to figure out who's going to hold what position and then be able to move over all the bank accounts and all that to the new.
Right, all of that stuff will be done because signature cards got to get done, new bank accounts and all of that have to get done.
Also, I have a question. Sure. I paid up until April, the end of April. Now what happens? That gets transferred over, correct?
That is correct. Oh yeah.
Okay.
If somebody paid through the end of the year, that's all transferred over. The records will remain the same.
Okay.
Yeah, records will continue.
That will not be an issue.
I was thinking about sending a check at the end of March because it takes about a month for it to get there. So I give myself a month.
Okay.
Now I cannot because we don't know who we're using.
Right.
But are we going to be doing like a bank to bank? That would be easier. Are we looking into that as well, or just sending a check the old-fashioned way?
Well, I think we need to discuss and figure out how the best way to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Meetings that we want to facilitate that as much as possible, and I think electronic transfers is probably the best way, and accepting credit card.
Oh, but credit card, there's a fee.
Right.
So, yeah.
We have to give owners all options, preferably bank-to-bank transfers, ACH transfers, obviously.
Right. Okay.
I will say that it's probably good that management has decided to move on. They do not want to recognize the vision of the owners. And I don't think as owners, we want to work with someone who recognize our decisions.
Well, it just may make it easy that they made the decision instead of the decision has to be made for them. But I just want everybody to be clear, they will cooperate fully in turning over whatever records that they have.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
The only thing I can comment on that is like you need two things, right? The software files, the soft copies, and all the evidences of paid. Like no, we need like financially, we need to like we're obligated to keep the historical records for up to 7 years, like any financial market generally. But since these guys came in like what 2 years, 2.5 years now, so we need all the records from day one they took over with any history what they got from them. So. And second thing is like about taxes, right? Are they going to file the taxes for this year or like?
Taxes have already been filed for this year.
Okay, good, great.
The taxes have already been, no, I saw that, made sure that they took care of that and everything else that they should have taken care of up to this point, which they have, by the way, including the taxes.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
So Edgar, would they be willing to do one more month in the interest of a smoother transfer? Because it's only a few weeks.
I asked him that, and the initial response was no, but I certainly can try again, okay? And by the way, I thought that would be a good idea, Joe, because it would just give us more time, you know, to do a smooth transition. But let me try to work that if I can, all right? Which I really think it's a good idea, because we got to figure out what we're going to do. You get a new bank account, you know, is this work going to come in-house, or are we going to find another management company, okay? And so I think now that we know this, okay, we need to start looking at that quickly, and let me see what I can do, try to get them to stay another month.
Okay, and then the other thing we need to discuss is the money that's in ESSA and trying to pull everything into one account.
Right, well, that's the other thing. Now, you know, we still have a major problem that we were not able to resolve because we just weren't able to get Jason, who was the treasurer technically, to sign off to move the money, okay, into the account. Now, that is, I can guarantee you that that's going to be problematic. What I mean by that, the bank has been very, very difficult on dealing with that, okay, because they want the two original signatures, okay, of the people who actually, and one was Patty Rispoli. Now, Patty Rispoli said a year ago, more than a year ago, that she would be willing to do that. But Lynn, for whatever the reason, was not able to get Jason to agree to do that. That was the only way. We had lawyers send them letters. Natalie, who was the president, send them letters. Nothing. They just would not accept anything, okay, except the original signatures of the people. So I asked him a very hypothetical question. I said, you know, because I was troubled by the position that they took. You know, what if somebody is no longer there? Okay, then you got to produce a death certificate. I mean, it was a nightmare with Issa Bank. I just want to, you know, and I forget what the amount of money, probably $30,000 that's sitting there, which is actually the Capital Improvement Fund, but that's something else that has to be worked on.
Okay, we'll figure that out, but we need to pull that money. We need to put everything in one account and consolidate everything.
By the way, the lawyer even sent them letters. Okay, that did not work. So people just ought to be aware of that as well.
Well, Edgar, have they filed tax when I left out? Taxes were not filed for 2017, 18, 19. So are we current with all the taxes?
Well, I know that we're current for 19 and 20, okay, because we just filed the most recent, Renee, but let me ask that. I may have that. I mean, we may have taken care of that, but I'm writing that down to ask that question, okay?
Yeah, because if anything, it would be definitely 2018.
Okay, well, when did he start by? He started
in June of 2018.
18. Well, did Shaniqua file the taxes?
Shaniqua, I believe, did 2017, but I will have to ask her.
Okay, so we need to find out about 2000. I know 19 was filed and 20 was filed, because 20 was just filed now. So the question was 18, right? I will find out. Okay, I'll find out.
Okay.
We've got some work to do quickly to get everything in order. Is that it, Edgar?
Yeah, that's it for me for the moment. Unless anybody has any questions for me. I got a few more minutes so I can stay and, you know, and continue to participate a little bit.
Any questions for Edgar?
And if anybody thinks of anything, you don't have to wait. You can certainly reach out to me or, get to Renee, and Renee could get to me. All right. And, if I need to follow up on anything else that anybody may think of, a little bit later on.
Okay. Renee, do you want to move on?
Yes, please.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is board officers. We need to get this settled so that we can start putting everything into place and let preferred management know who to transfer everything to and work with. Renee, do you want to take this part of the conversation?
Well, basically, as I had said earlier, and although we all know that we can do things different than the bylaws, it just says that once we have these 7 officers, the 7 officers decide who's who. And I understand, based on what you suggested, is that we let everyone do it. And I just want to take a moment to say at this point, even though we want to be transparent and inclusive, there are things that are private, such as dues. Even though the board might discuss who is delinquent in dues, it can't be done in an open forum where everybody knows everyone's business. So there are things where it's going to have to be solely the board. We might want to say, okay, we talked to 3 people this month or last month or whatever, but we got to figure out what is board only and what is to the public. When we originally started, we opened up all meetings to everyone. And then at the conclusion of a portion of the meeting, we went to board members only. And I think that works.
Yeah, I agree. I think that in terms of naming names, I don't think we should. We can let everybody know there are, you know, X number of people delinquent and the numbers, but in terms of the privacy of you know, owners, we need to keep that private, just because some of them might be in the meeting or they may have issues, you know, that everybody does not need to know about.
Right. And Joe, let me just add to that point, okay? And what you and Renee both said are absolutely correct, but there are legal issues in terms of privacy. You cannot, you know, what you said, how you articulated, I mean, I can share with everybody, the total amount of arrears that owners owe for Snowshoe is about a little over $100,000 at this point. But I would be violating my fiduciary responsibility if I went through the list and said, this one owes that and this one owes this, okay? And the same thing, I mean, that is something that is going to have to, you know, only be privileged information to members of the board, because if not, you could be sued for putting that kind of information out there. So just be sensitive to that.
Absolutely. But we do want transparency so all owners know what the issues are and how much, you know, is owed and why there are some decisions being made.
Right.
Okay, so is there anyone that would like to make a motion on the board officers?
So do we know, do we have a list of, let me see if I can.
Renee, I made a proposal. What do people think about that? I mean, one way to do it, because not everybody got the same amount of votes, and everybody knows that is not privileged information. Everybody knows who got how many votes. What about the idea whoever got the most votes become president and work your way down?
Yeah, that sounds okay. That sounds good, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I second that.
All right, so let me put that in the form of a motion. Is
that
okay?
I think
what happened here. Oh, okay, yeah.
I think we want to look at skill set if we want to be efficient. There's some people that are probably better at finance than others. And I don't think the numbers really can quantify it that way, but I'm open to whatever anybody wants.
Speaking of finance, do we have a CPA?
Honestly, I don't think we have a CPA, and I don't remember anyone saying they will do that.
I think it's a good idea we get one.
Well,
Alex,
let me just interject something here, okay? If the idea, maybe putting the cart before the horse, okay? If the idea is to bring it in the house, okay, and do all the financial work in the house, maybe you do need somebody with a financial background. If you're going to do it with an outside agency like we did with Brad, okay, I don't really think that you need that, because the treasurer, okay, really doesn't need to have that kind of experience. And those that may not be familiar, for example, you know, how to walk through a financial statement, okay, and see balance sheets, okay, and see other things that go into it, that can be, you could be trained relatively easy to do that. And one of the things that you will most likely do, okay, now what we did, and so let me just work backwards like this. When we were able to, you know, we met regularly. Sometimes we met monthly and went over. We certainly met monthly to go over the financial report. And so people had, the board I'm talking about. So people had an opportunity really to take a good hard look and do a deep dive and ask Brad questions about what was everything was, what was in it, what came in, what went out, all of the expenses. In that situation, who owed what and what we were doing about those kinds of things. So I'm just suggesting, recommended, if the idea is to, bring it in-house, I think you probably would need somebody that's got, some serious financial experience, okay? But if you're not going to do that, I don't think that it would be as necessary. This is just my thought on that.
I don't think that decision's been made yet because the whole preferred management thing was just sprung on us 2 minutes ago.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So we need some time to digest that. But I think next step is to really figure out who's going to do what.
Hi, this is Shaniqua. I'm sorry, I got onto the call a little bit late. And I just kind of heard the last bit of the discussion in regards to officers. I think that I agree with, I think it was Joe, who said that it should be more so as far as skill set goes, because that's going to be the strongest way for the board to function. I don't remember everyone's resume as far as like what skill set each one had. And I think it's also something that we can ask those people who have been elected to the board. Is there something in specific that they think that they would function well in as far as the board officers?
Okay.
So there's a lot of silence here. Everybody ran for the board, so let's discuss this.
Alex, Michael, Thomas, come on. Thomas, you made an opinion. Edgar made a motion. Thomas seconded the motion. Are we going to vote on that motion, or are we going to keep work moving?
Well, I think if you, I made a motion. If it was seconded, I think appropriate Robert's Rules of Order is called at least for a vote on it.
Yeah, well, I second Edgar's motion. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry about that. I was on mute. More importantly, we're going to be running this like a business. We're not looking to make a profit, but we're looking to better the situation. And if you're going to elect a president, you're going to want to elect someone who is going to be able to be in that area the most time. I myself live in Staten Island, New York, so I would not want that responsibility of being a president because, for example, when there's an issue with the snow, I really don't want to drive 3 hours, to measure the snow. And if someone lives up there and they're in close proximity, it would make it a lot easier on everyone, to make a call. Because if you have 20 people complaining, but then we have, one board member who does live and can go up there, just like calling balls and strikes, then it would make it a lot easier on everyone else. So
I agree with you. I think the top positions probably should live in the area. I agree with you.
Like it's sensible.
Because if somebody says, we need to plow, and someone drives up there and says, listen, we got 3 inches of snow, we don't need to plow. But yet if somebody's up there, it's a lot easier to make the call. So, I mean, for that, you're going to need someone no more than a half hour away.
And Mike, even that could be problematic if you have a lot of snow. Okay, I agree with you also. That should be really somebody who lives in the community, because it snows in the Poconos unlike any place else. Okay, they get 20. We get in New York. You're in Staten Island. I'm in Queens. We get 10 inches there. They get 22.
Yeah, I didn't say they had to live in Snowshoe.
Right. Yeah, but they're close.
Area.
Right.
Well, close proximity.
Right.
I also think there's so many issues going on there that need to be fixed. We need somebody that's got their pulse on what's going on daily.
Exactly. Right.
So with that said, I make a motion for Renee as president. I think she's organized all this, she's put this all together.
Second that motion.
The right person to lead it.
And I third it. I second it.
Yeah, definitely.
I second that.
I third that.
We all do.
Yeah, I second that as well.
Yeah.
I thought people would volunteer that, you know, I want this, I want that, and yeah, you go ahead, take it.
The whole thing for Renee, the whole thing is to make it work. Right. You know, I put a lot of time. I'm willing to put in a lot of time. My only drawback, which is why I had originally pushed for Joseph to be president, is because he controls his temper a little better than I do. He is a lot more technical savvy than I am. And the only way I could do this position is if he did vice president, or he did president and I did vice president. But I need someone that's hands-on. Shaniqua will always tell me about my emotions. I am highly emotional. I have learned behavior, okay, guys? So I'm not gonna necessarily curse anybody out, but sometimes my patience runs short. If you guys can deal with that, like you've been dealing with it, then I'm sure I can be fine. But Joseph needs to be up there, okay? He either needs to be president or vice president, because I'm not gonna lie, I cannot do a Microsoft course. I did Microsoft in 2013, and everything I learned, I forgot. Secretary, I pay a secretary.
Well, we're gonna work together one way or another, whatever the positions are.
Okay, great. Then
to do 1 and 2, when you do president, vice president, that's fine. That's
Right. Okay, I nominate Joseph as vice president.
Okay, I'll second that.
I second that, yeah.
I'll second that motion. If I may make a suggestion.
So now we have to go right on down the line. So are we gonna vote on all these individual?
Well, the problem, and I think Joe's comment was good, okay, in the sense that, you know, we perhaps really need to decide, before we decide who the treasurer is, for example, all right, you know, whether what's going to be in-house. You know, I don't know that it's imperative that that decision actually be made tonight. I mean, I think that it makes sense that, you know, if Renee, you're going to be president, Joe's going to be vice president, I think that that might be sufficient, okay, for the moment. And because what allows me then to do is to say to Brad, okay, you know, Renee's been elected president, and then this is the person that we're going to turn the information over. And then when the second treasurer gets in place, okay, you know, then you could work with that person, right? Let me just say one other thing about Renee in support of my position for president. She knows more about snowshoe than all of us put together. Okay, all right, and she's probably spent more time in snowshoe and dealing with snowshoe issues when she wasn't even part of any of these boards. Okay, so she has a deep concern and deep interest. Okay, and although, and I'll be very candid here, and I do not agree on everything every day of the week. Okay, but we figure out how to come together and do what's in the best interest of snowshoe, and she's there. And when, like, you know, Mike was talking about when the snow happens, you know, Renee, she knows Donald, she knows Donnie, she knows Ernest. Those are the three guys, and she can control that situation. I mean, I did the best I could under the circumstances, but it was on the phone. Renee is right there. So, you know, I certainly support that for Renee as president and Joe as vice president.
Everybody knows Renee.
Everybody knows Renee, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, are we going to vote on that separately, or are we going to go on down the line? Because one of the things I do know, unless something new has changed, Alex, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So do you know anything about bookkeeping?
No, I don't.
Okay. So the only other two people that I know that know anything about bookkeeping, neither one of them want to do it. And that would be Shaniqua Mack and Mrs. Amico, Sarah Amico. Yeah. And Sarah has said that she would help out if somebody worked with her. So I believe this is going to be that type of thing that we're going to fill the position, but that person is going to be like the Queen of England, basically just responsible for someone that we're going to end up having to hire. Because of the 7 people, there is no one that has said, I can do or will do bookkeeping.
Yeah, I could do it. It's not
You can do it.
money every day.
Yeah. So Michael, you said you can do it?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's all I deal with business all day. It's not a, it's not a huge task.
Michael, it's not that complicated. It really isn't.
No, it's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated.
But that.
I can help you.
Oh, that's good. The wife could help the husband. There you go.
Yeah, good. Okay,
Team
excuse me
effort.
everybody for 1 minute. I'll be right back.
I will be the treasurer.
It basically has to be like a series of check and balances. You know, for example, you know, if you agree on doing something, but you said you want to have 7 people on the board. Is that correct?
Yes, there's 7 people on the board.
All 7, yeah.
Now, do you need 7? I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's what
7 were elected.
7 were elected.
7 were elected. That's correct.
Yeah.
So I'd like to nominate Michael Amico to be the treasurer.
Okay. I second it.
Question about handling the books and everything, being out in Long Island, about being able to get to the bank, et cetera, et cetera. Do they have branches out in Long Island and that kind of thing?
I live in Staten Island, not Long Island.
Oh yeah, pardon me. Yeah.
Well, Vinny, one of the things they discussed, I think they said earlier, was bank-to-bank deposit. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Wells Fargo, PNC, and Citi, I think it's Citibank, but I'll double check tomorrow. They have a thing where people can mail, like they handle the money. So people can make the payments directly to the bank, and the bank would send us a record of what they did. Because a lot of these, and let me tell you, I'm not sure how it works, but I know that there are several real estate companies up here now that does everything through the bank.
Yeah.
So when I turn in a deal, I turn in the right paperwork, my broker signs off, I deposit the check to the bank bank sends me my commission. So all the money is handled through the bank.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, that answers part of my question. Really, the nucleus of my question was, Michael, we would need your signature at ESSA Bank. Come on out to ESSA, because I don't think ESSA has a division in Staten Island. That kind of thing. That's my question.
Is that the bank we're going to use?
I don't know. I'm just floating this in the air, being that you're in Staten Island. If your physical signature is needed, is it going to be a disadvantage to all of us?
The answer to that is yes, it could be. I would recommend, and I'll tell you why I would recommend this. I would recommend it a local bank we use. Okay, whether it's ESA, whether it's East Stroudsburg Savings, whether it's Citizens, whether it's PNC, which is probably the biggest up there. Okay,
and they got branches all over. Yeah.
Right. Okay, or even Wells Fargo. Okay.
Yeah.
But if a branch is not close to Michael, but I think again, I think the group needs to decide they're going to sort of do this in house, so that everybody's going to send their checks to Michael, because everybody's not going to be able to do an electronic transfer on the bank. Some people are still going to use snail mail to mail their dues in. Are we talking about that going to a treasurer? And if this case it's Michael, he gets the checks, and then he's got Michael letters are tremendous, a lot of work. Okay, if you're ready to do that, fine. Okay, but I would think about that. All right, because you're constantly running to the bank, you're constantly having to do something if you're getting snail mail checks. Okay, just something to think about. That's all.
If you use a bigger bank, you could just take a picture of it and deposit it through your phone. I recommend the bigger bank because ESSA Bank is a nightmare. I opened up an account there for my company, and to do ACH transfers, they charge you, and they work with a third party. Exactly. They're just a small town bank. They're not efficient, and if we want to move into the 21st century and be able to accept ACH transfers and things like that, let's move to a bigger bank. ESSA is a no-go.
Right. Right. That's Wells Fargo or PNC basically up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you want to have a local bank. The other reason why you want to have a local bank, at some point in time, you may have to go to a bank to try to see if we can get a loan for something. Okay. And if you don't have a local bank doing that for you, nobody out of state or in another community is going to do that. So that's the other reason why you want to have a relationship with a local bank.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have PNC, but PNC like is not doing Zelle and other real-time transfers for business accounts. They're only allowed for personal accounts. PNC services are very good. Like I use it for my businesses. It is very good, but keep in mind that they don't like they're not yet like accepting real-time payments for business accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, MNT, I know MNT Bank does Zelle accounts.
Only for personal accounts, yeah. All Bank of America, PNC, all has Zelle, but only for the personal accounts, not for the business accounts yet.
Okay. No, they've got it for the business accounts too. For Bank of America, I have my business account with Bank of America.
No, Bank of America has, PNC don't have it. I have business account with PNC. It don't have Zelle activated yet. Just FYI.
But I'm sure you can do bank-to-bank ACH transfers.
ACH is pull, yes, but wire transfer they cost money for the sender, so ACH is like low cost. It depends on like people what they want to spend on, or you can go with a third party who will charge like a fee for all these services. But again, it costs money, right? So
okay, we'll have to look into, but I recommend one of the bigger banks. Their services are better.
Well, at Bank of America, I mean, you can use Zelle, and there's no issue.
There is no Bank of America in like 40 miles vicinity from this area. I used to have one in here. Yeah. I'm a Bank of America holder, but we don't have any branches here in this area. So they closed even the one near to this.
Yeah. There's no Chase, there's no BOAC, there's no Capital One, which are nationwide banks basically. But yeah.
There's PNC right on the corner.
Exactly. PNC is the one, yeah. PNC is a reasonable size bank here.
Yeah, I'm about 11 miles from PNC, so I'm not.
Right, there you go. Right, yeah, they're all.
I'm not far from PNC.
Okay, so Vincent Amico has been nominated as treasurer. Anyone going to second the nomination?
I seconded for Michael.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Yeah. So now all the board members, are we all in favor of Michael as treasurer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So let's go on down to secretary. Vincent Manel, would you like to be secretary?
I don't know the duties and the paperwork of being secretary. I could certainly, ascend to that. So, what my skill sets and everything. Do you elect me as a viable candidate?
Yes, and I will send you Robert's Rules and Order.
Okay.
It will tell you exactly. Basically, because we do Zoom meetings right now, the meetings are recorded. So that's one thing you don't have to really worry about. Yeah. But you do have to make sure, like who came to the meeting. If we take a vote in the future, who voted for what.
Okay. I can certainly do that.
It's a skill set that's not bad.
Okay, that is something I accept. Does anybody want to second that?
I'll second that. And into that, we had discussed, Vincent, you sort of spearheading a quality of life effort there at Snowshoe. So I think that'll be part of your responsibility.
Right. Like I said, I want to be proactive about this. I want to be in the loop of the decision making, and I'm very happy for the progress here. So count on me to be as positive and proactive as I can be.
This quality of life is really important. It's the little things, the detailed things.
Yeah.
Whether you yourself or you work through Donald or somebody else to make sure the place is sparkling clean.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have suggestions, and I've been picking up trash myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I could take a little segue, I have a friend in Florida who's trying to get an apartment, and you have to render all kinds of information to get an apartment. You actually have to be screened and everything like that. That's a discussion for another day. But as far as getting the quality of life here up to standards and everything. We gotta, you know, discuss that within the letter of the law. Okay.
Okay, so we have that thing fixed. Thomas O'Connor. This is something that I was thinking about as far as him heading up. We have crawl space problems and roof problems. I don't know who's been there lately, but I believe that if you haven't, you need to go by and look at the work he's done in the crawl space. So I was thinking that he could head up the department that takes care of the crawl spaces and the roofs, because we need an engineer and we need an architect. So if in his position on the board, which is probably board member at large, and we would give him that to take care of, because he knows that more than anybody that I know that's on the board.
I beg to differ. Excuse me, I beg to differ. I'm an architect.
Who is that, Alex?
Yes, it is.
Well, Alex, you didn't tell me you were an architect.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you okay?
Well,
so, all right, so then you would be perfect for working with him. You guys could work together.
No.
That's fine. I mean,
because you're both. Because the thing is, from what I understand, in order, like that building 139 that needs to be jacked up, that cannot be jacked unless we have an engineer and an architect.
A structural engineer.
And Alex, this is Edgar. I know there are some documents, because I think an engineer has taken a look at some of those buildings. Okay, so we can dig up what we have to get to you. You might want to coordinate and talk to the engineers once you take a look at it, or you might want to hire somebody else. But one of the things I will certainly try to do is, you know, be as helpful as I can and get whatever information, you know, that I have been engaged or involved in. Now, prior to George leaving, he had some of the stuff as well, because he basically on a day-to-day made sure things went well. But, you know, if you're going to undertake that, you know, we should talk offline, and let me see what I can get to you at what we may already have. How does that sound?
Sure.
Okay.
No problem. Sounds good.
Okay.
And Tom, you're a former building inspector, right?
Building superintendent, handyman, contractor. Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, that has my vote of confidence.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions or any points to make?
Is that for all of the officers, Renee?
Well, the other only have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer. Everybody else is a member at large.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So we have Janakadai.
Right, Janakdan. Shanti, we call her Shanti.
Shanti. So we've got to give her some kind of portfolio also.
Okay. She said she will help any way she can.
Communications manager.
Somebody
to really communicate. Communication has been probably the biggest issue, and we need to make sure we're communicating very clearly, not only between the owners, but also with the tenants.
Yeah, I did that back in the year with my superintendent thing, so I can do that also.
That's a good idea, because we used to do a newsletter, but we had nobody to do it, you know, to keep people informed of what's going on in the community. So that would be a very, very good position for somebody. And I certainly support that.
Not only communication's got to go both ways. She has to really communicate with the tenants and report back the issues, so we can be proactive.
Okay, so there is an issue, since we're talking about tenants, that I forgot to put on this agenda, and that's Airbnb. Now, one of the owners that just recently purchased in building 107, unit 201, he's using it as an Airbnb, and the tenants in that building are having a fit, because they've had, I guess, a couple of people have gone and stayed, and they were reckless. So I know that at one point we had been asked about an Airbnb and we turned it down. I also know, and I am assuming that a lot of the new owners don't know, there is a fee that is paid to the association for renters, and it's an annual fee. I know that there is no fee. There is no setup whatsoever for Airbnb. And I don't believe, I think it's something that we need to really consider. And I don't believe we need to allow it at this time because there is a lot of confusion with some of the tenants that are there now. I went through there today and there was, I guess, it looked like one tenant was having a car wash service. He had 4 cars lined up. They were washing the cars, hose through the window, shining the cars. And I asked them, they all said they lived there, but I didn't recognize 3 of the car owners. So you guys need to make some kind of decision about that.
Renee, let me just comment on that as well, please. I think that'd be a big mistake if we open that door.
So do I.
Yeah. All right, and I think the board has the authority, okay, to prohibit Airbnb kind of activity, right? What that basically is short-term rental. Everybody knows what Airbnb is, but it has destroyed communities, okay, and it will destroy Snowshoe as well. So I think that one of the things that this new board needs to do, and I think hopefully with support of all the owners, because it will devalue that property. Okay, the people who are renting to Airbnb, they will make money, no doubt about it. But I don't think that people, particularly the folks who live there, want that community to be like that. And the rest of us who do rent, okay, like Renee just mentioned, okay, I mean, they bring tons and tons of people in there. This time of year when snow season, okay, they come up and rent a place for a week or 2 weeks and they do nothing but destroy property. So, but I think what this association could do is prohibit that and pass a regulation, all right? And then notify whoever is doing that they are in violation. And if they continue to do it, this board has the authority to assess a heavy fine as long as they do that.
Well, the thing is, this company that's doing it is they're out of Texas. They brought 2 properties in Snowshoe. And they just recently brought this property and they've had 3 B&B tenants as it is. And
I don't think that Mount Pocono Borough allows.
Yeah, I think it's,
Airbnb.
Me too. That's illegal in Mount Pocono Borough, actually.
I don't think that we really have to do a whole lot except for contact the borough, give them the information to the owners, letting the owners know that this is not allowed in our borough.
Yeah, I read that in the Mount Pocono documentation also, yes. I agree with
Shaniqua.
And that's the first thing that should be done, to notify the borough that we have some people in there and see what they suggest how to handle it. Maybe they'll take it over. It'll become their issue.
Definitely can try. I haven't heard from anyone else, but I also want to keep in mind that we as owners have a responsibility with our tenants. So besides the Airbnb, you know, I believe one of the things that we did in 2017 is we try to get all the tenants to sign the rules and regulations because they are breaking the rules and regulations like crazy lately. I had people that just refused. This one couple, they refused to move their car so that it could be plowed. And then 3 days later, they were threatening Donald because they were going to have a party. You better move. I don't want that. Those are the things that the owners are responsible for passing on to their tenants.
Yeah, as part of the lease agreement, you sign the rules and regulations, but like you need to review them and like, I think like 3 years back, I showed some anomalies in that document what we are getting signed, right? So we need to correct all those things and make it like user friendly, easy to understand so that they sign and agree on that.
Okay, so Nagesh, you wanna look at that document?
Yeah,
and correct it and then present it to us, and you know we can see how to move from there.
Correct, but thing is like again, you should draw a line like where an owner will be responsible and when between a tenant or like between a neighbor's dispute, because like I've seen this in the past in Snowshoe, when 2 people fight, 2 neighbors fight, what do owners like who are not there like going to help in that scenario? So it's a
Yeah, Nagesh, I think you and I should put our heads together. I would like to trade ideas with you about, how to draft such a document. Looking at snowshoe bylaws as they are, I signed into certain things.
no, Snowshoe already have one document. Yes, Snowshoe
Yeah,
already
right.
have one. We got it signed by our tenants.
Let's put our heads together, because I got some ideas that I'd like to bounce off of you and everybody else. Okay.
Yeah, sure. And also, we need to streamline the resale certificates and new tenant registrations, new owner registration forms. I don't know whether everybody's religiously following them. That's where a lot of my disputes arise from. They're not uniform.
Well, I think that's part of what our communications manager needs to do, is go to each unit and just collect who's living there, because we haven't gotten that from the owners, and I think we just need to be proactive about that. And Nagesh, I also agree with you. I think there's some confusion about what owners are responsible for when tenants do something. If a tenant, gets into a fight with somebody, the owner's not responsible for that or liable for that. That's the tenant. So I think that clearly needs to be delineated in whatever you guys put together.
Now I have a question.
Just keep in mind, I kind of disagree, because when a place gets busted for drugs, they can confiscate the place. Okay. And a lot of things that happen with these fights, a lot of them are drug related. No, let's keep it real. All the owners need to be actively involved with their tenants. Now, I'm not saying that they're responsible if one kid slaps another kid. You still should know if those tenants are fighting or if they're trouble in the community. Because the problem is the community says these are bad kids or these kids are not being watched. They don't have anyone to go to but the owners. Because if they go directly to the other tenant, then there's a fight, someone gets hurt, then what do?
The owners aren't babysitters, though. I mean,
yeah,
you're right.
I think it'll work,
the owners
Renee.
need to know. You're absolutely right. The owners need to know, but the owners can't be held liable for,
what the tenant to do, yeah.
Yeah, for something that their tenant does. That's not, it's just not, I don't think it's even legally valid. If my tenant goes out and gets into a fight with a neighbor, that's my tenant. Let me know, but I can't reprimand them. I'm not their parent.
Well, this comes under quality of life issues too. So we all got to have a conversation about this in the future.
Yeah, down the line we talk about the kids play area. All those things will come into play now as part of the beautification process. Right. There are several things which we can make it happen, but it's a slow process. It's a baby steps.
Exactly. And if the tenants are an issue, then we can ask the owners if they're a continual issue or creating problems or selling drugs or whatever. Then you can ask the owners to get rid of them. I think that you got to draw the line between somebody that's really a problem or just an incident that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the difference. Yeah.
Yeah, there are rules and regulations and the pet policy, cleanup policy. There are several things which we need to tackle at a bigger level. Yeah. The pet policy also come into play because cleanup is a lot of times they complain to owners. What owners can do if somebody walks their pets and not clean up after that.
There's a lot of verbiage in the bylaws as they are, so we all need to review that.
Right, and how many of us owners right now on the phone have actually gone over the bylaws or the rules and regulations with their tenants?
I've been with all my 4 units, all the people who signed the thing, I have signatures from them. I read them, I highlighted them, whatever, so yeah. By book, we got the signature.
And you've given them to the office?
No, I didn't give it to office, but I have the copy of.
The office has to get it. When you
I understand, Renee. Basically, okay.
They're supposed to get it.
That's fine. Supposed to get it all the 4 times, there is no office at all, right? Let's not go there, right? If you want to fix it in future, if you want to fix it in future, we'll fix it. But in the past, there was no office. There is no single responsible person to handle this, right? So let's not go there in the past. So
I think this is why our communications person needs to go out with either Renee or I and really visit all the units and have everybody sign it on behalf of the owners.
Right.
Snowshoe. But it needs to be redesigned into something that's clear and easy to understand, because no one's going to read all that stuff. You got to simplify it, you know, and maybe point it out, and maybe the most important one's really big letters and everything else kind of small, so that they understand, and they have to get a copy of it too. Maybe something that they can put in their refrigerator.
Question before I make a statement. Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I own some other properties down the road where they had some issues, and I gave them a very good idea, and they acted on it. That for anybody that's renting from you, for example, they get a sticker for their windshield, because that is private property, and you know, people cannot just leave their cars, you know, in Snowshoe or anywhere else and abandon. So the easiest way to pick it out is they actually put up signs. You have to 90-degree back in parking. So any car that doesn't have a green sticker, and we gave 2 stickers to each, because they're 3-bedroom, 2 baths. And this way, if you're driving by and you see cars that don't have those decals, because they're only good for a year, and I think it cost us $50, $60, is a great way just to look and see which cars belong and which cars don't belong. Because that they had some pretty bad activity over there, and they acted on that because people were just coming and going. So if you're basically, you know, if you want to drive through Snowshoe and everyone's backed in, you're going to see a decal, and that'll basically tell you the renter has 2 of them, and they're, you know, if they want a 3rd one, of course you give it to them. Yet once they leave, the new renter would have to get them, because you can't have people working on cars, you can't have people cleaning cars there unless there's a sticker. And of course, you got to put up a sign as private property. I think it cost them $320 to post the signs that's private property, view court owners only.
Yeah, we have that, Michael.
Yeah. The stickers, like I saw the stickers in Snowshoe office in 2017. I don't know whether I saw some stickers, like I don't know whether there is ever that enforced the parking stickers. Edgar, do you know? I don't know whether Edgar is still on.
I think that's a great idea. In addition to that, we also have to paint the parking spots and put numbers on them.
Assigned parking spaces, right?
Parking, put the number of the unit within the spot, so everybody knows where they're supposed to park, because parking is just a big mess there.
I think that
here, you're in unit 102, unit 102 on the floor is yours. That's it. You're parked elsewhere, you know you shouldn't be there. And you have your sticker.
And I've explained that to my tenants. And I also, you know, they asked me about if they have a party. I said, well, if there's a party, they can go park in a spot that's not designated, but they cannot take a designated spot. And like you said, if Renee goes there 4 days in a row and she sees a car with no sticker and it doesn't belong there, you have the right to tow that car at the owner's request. It kind of keeps people on their toes. You know, nobody wants to pay a fine. And as a landlord, you know, you said you can't intervene if they're fighting with each other, but you can make it pretty simple that you can park here and you can't. But if you don't follow the rules, you know, they are going to enforce it. And, you know, the owner of the vehicle incurs the cost. We don't make any money, of course. We just make, you know, like you said, you want to clean up the area. You don't know which cars are illegally there or not. Somebody just said that there was having a car wash there. Well, you know what? It's private property. You you don't have a sticker in your car, I'm sorry. You know, we're going to give you 15 minutes to leave. You know,
also should be a statement in the lease between the landlord and the tenant saying that they can't do that.
They can do what?
That they can't wash their car in the public driveways, private.
No, that's the rules and regulations.
And have wild parties and be disruptive to the other people in the building. It should be in the lease.
No, not lease. There is an addendum to the lease. There is a rules and regulations, so tenant rules and regulations. That's what, like I mentioned about earlier.
Bylaws. These people are not going to read.
I'm talking about the individual lease between the landlord and the tenant.
That's a good idea. Because if they put some of those rules and regulations in the lease, it'll be fine. You know, last week, 2 weeks ago, we had someone that changed their oil in the snow. And they left a pan and a stack of snow and all the oil down. It looked terrible.
Yep.
So if you have in the rules and regulations, it says you cannot repair your car on property. I think the landlords could help us if they put it in their leases.
No, I don't think that's legally you can do that.
It's a standard lease.
No, I don't think like you can put that in the lease, like what they can do with the automobiles. There is an addendum to the lease.
It's private property. Like Joe said, you know, how many people read the bylaws? How many of these tenants even understand the wording?
Right.
Most of them, they want to see the security deposit, the real estate fee, and it's a 2-year lease. They don't look any further than that.
That's right.
You know, that's the reality. People take refrigerators. Well, you can't chase them. The reality is when they move, they don't read past the first page. They don't. I mean,
what I do with my tenants, I go upstairs every now and then, and I specifically ask her questions about the apartment, about the plumbing, about the refrigerator, about the lights or whatever it is. And she answers the questions all correctly. She knows the responsibility to me and to the apartment, and it's in her lease. And I know that she understands that because I ask her all the time. I think that's something a landlord and a tenant should always do. So they're both on the same page as far as responsibility goes to the tenant and to the apartment as a landlord.
But I think we could definitely look at the parking, especially with the snow removal, when there's a sign put up saying, listen, under certain conditions, vehicles must be moved.
Well, towed, yeah, I agree with that, yes.
And if you don't move your car, it's going to get towed. Sorry.
Well, that's one of the things that should be in the lease also.
Yes, other rules and regulation, yes.
Yeah.
Those leases,
among many other things.
Most people, the 6 pages. They sign, and they're in. They don't read them. You know,
well, I mean, that's just an excuse you're finding for them. You know, I mean, because you don't want to read doesn't make you, you know,
less responsible.
Follow the rules.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're bad.
I'll be honest with you. I'm renting to someone right now who probably cannot read that and not understand.
Well, that's what you're there for, to explain it to them.
I don't speak their language. So do I hire a translator?
Yeah, but okay, so that means if you speak the language, how could you went to them? Then you can communicate with them then.
I mean, let's use common sense here.
Yeah, equal housing, you don't have to like speak the language to equal housing. So equal employment, equal housing, you don't have to like communicate. Like that's not a requirement anyway by law. What we are saying is the lease is not like a governed document by the association, but the rules and regulations is a governed document by the association, which you can attach to your lease, because lease is something which there is no standard document, right? And you can write anything in your lease what you want based on the Pennsylvania rules and regulations.
Listen, on your lease, you could say, tenant, you know, you can go down the line, washer, dryer, owner, property of owner, you know, you can go down, you could lease up and down. But what I'm trying to say is the realization is going to read the full lease or the full bylaw. I mean, I'm a realist.
No, that's why like there is an addendum to the lease which has a like very 10 paragraphs. Like we can condense down into 10 bullet points and we can agree on that, like the next meeting, whatever. Those are the things like people has to agree and sign, at least like the tenants.
I just want aesthetic look nicer outside.
Okay, guys, we are moving in past the hour, and we want to keep these meetings at an hour. So for new business, is there anything anybody wants to say? As far as the topic we just had, I think quality of life should review that and be prepared to give us some information at the next meeting. New business, is there any?
Well, they're going to have to come up with some kind of allowance, you know, for you as the president, because, you know, you're going to be driving up there. And you're going to be putting wear and tear. So they're going to have to give you, you know, some kind of compensation for your time. You know,
okay, but I appreciate that, but we will have to discuss it at the next meeting, because duties as a president come with no salary. If I do property management, that's something different, but that's not for this discussion. We just can't take on so much at one meeting. So,
including your insurance. Board members need insurance, right?
That's included in the insurance. Yeah, that's
right, and we have insurance. That'll be transferred over.
The only thing that I wanted to say something about is in regards to, I know we were talking about parking spaces, but the parking lot in general.
Yes.
And I don't know if this was mentioned earlier, but with all of the snow and everything melting now, there are tremendous potholes all over. So that's something that we really need to look at and see about where the water is flowing to, whether or not that's been cleaned out, because otherwise we will have some other issues going into the building. In regards to the actual parking spaces, whenever we do mark them and number them, we need to make sure that there are enough parking spaces, because from what I remember from before, there are not actually enough parking spaces in front of each building to cover 2 cars per building. So we want to make sure that we space out in order to do that, whether it's going into the grass on the side and maybe putting 1 spot there for each unit.
Right.
We just have to look at those things.
Right.
So I just wanted to mention them just so that people remember them as we're going into the discussions about the parking.
Yes, when Edgar did his when he did his notes, his report, he made sure the roads were in there. And we've been looking, just like we did in the past, at once we get the place paved, having a way of making parking spots on that middle, so that if everybody had 1 spot in front of the building, they also had 1 spot right adjacent, right across that parking lot, like the round circle with the grass.
Yeah.
There's enough room for people to have spots there. And it's wide enough that you still have the 2-way traffic.
Yeah, and guest parking as well.
Right, and you have the guest parking. So if you look at the extra memo I sent you, the attachment, it asks for everybody to look at what they can do, what are their suggestions, what do they think are priorities, especially all those that live there. You guys know that. And if we can at the next meeting or before the next meeting, if you can present that, then it's stuff that we can discuss, because it's only going to, you know, everybody's going to have to agree on what's going to be done first and how we're going to do it. And that's the only way we're going to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
The basements would be nice.
Okay. Anybody have anything else to say?
Good. Everyone, good night.
Good night. I adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Hooray. Hooray.
Congratulations all.
Night.
Congratulations. And,
thank you. Congratulations to everybody else too.
Okay. Bravo.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Vinny.
Okay.